Good morning, guys. Coach Wofford here. I wanted to kind of go back over a couple things that we have done the past couple of weeks. So last week we started volleyball, and we talked about bumping or passing. Okay, it's called the same thing, and it's usually the first hit that you do when the ball comes over the net. Okay, and we talked about a little bit about volleyball. You have 3 hits on each side, and so we usually bump, or we call it pass as well. And then we set, okay, and then we hit. So basically the 3 ways that we do this is the bump sets it up for the person called the setter, okay? Now, when we're playing in PE or whatever, anyone can be the setter, anyone can be someone who bumps it or passes it. Remember a couple of things with when we talk about our bumping or passing, okay? Remember, I told you guys to put your hand within your other hand, okay? And then you go around it with your thumbs down. Now, remember, where did we talk about that we hit, okay? We hit right here from your wrist to your elbow on both sides. Now, remember, you have to keep your arms level, because if I slightly turn my arm, it is going to come off my arm and go that way. Or if I turn this arm, it's going to come off my arm and go that way. It has to be a flat surface for the ball to connect with, okay? And we also talked about not crossing our fingers. Remember, I told you, you can break your fingers doing this, okay? I've seen some really bad injuries with this because right now I'm using a really soft ball. But in actual volleyball, it's a harder ball, and the older you get, the harder they come over that net, and there is a good chance you can get injured. So remember, we put it inside, we go around it, thumbs down, okay? And remember, your thumbs too, they can't be up, okay? They can't be across like this. They have to be down to give it a level surface if you accidentally hit it from right here. You don't typically want to hit it right here, but if you accidentally do, that's okay as well. All right, so that is our first hit and our first skill in volleyball is bump or slash pass. So I'll call it both ways sometimes. So last week I had you guys, you could do it to yourself. I had you do it on the wall. Okay, you could do it with a partner, however you want to do it. So now we're going to add another skill in. So this would be, this one is really important as well. The first one, the first hit, the bump or the pass has to be a good one. And if it's not, it makes it really difficult for the second person, the second hit to happen, okay? Because you want it to get as close to the net as you can. So the first one is the bump, okay? It goes up, and usually you want it to go towards the net a little bit, and then you actually put your fingers up, and that is when the setter comes in to set the ball for the hitter to hit it over the net, okay? So it's bump, set, hit, or spike. That's what we also call it that. Most of the time in elementary school, I do a just bump, set, hit, or pass, set, hit. It's not really a spike, okay, because you guys aren't quite tall enough to get it over the net, but it's the same type of thing. You're trying to hit it over the net to hit the floor on the other side where the team doesn't get it and you get the point. So today what we're going to do is we are going to go over how to set the ball. So the bump or the pass has come up to you, okay? And the setter's job is to set the ball for the person that's going to come up and hit the ball over the net. So with that, you have to be very careful with your fingertips, because this is where you use your fingertips at. They have to be, I always call them, you have to have like little noodle fingers, okay? And when I say that, that means we don't have stiff hands, okay? You don't want your hands to be stiff, because another thing, you can break your fingers doing this, okay? That is why we don't usually use setting, okay, as the first hit when it comes over the net to hit it like this, because you can break your finger doing that. That is why when the ball comes over, okay, they have hit the ball over to your side. That's why we want you to pass or bump it like this. It's a lot easier to take the hit on your forearms than it is your fingertips, okay? Your fingertips can get hurt with this. So this one is when the ball has come over, okay? The pass has been set to you, and now you're going to set the ball up in the air, high up in the air, so your hitter can come up and hit the ball over the net, okay? So the way you do this, okay, is basically the ball is in the air, and you basically you come from here okay? You watch the ball come up and you release, okay? So it's a type of, you kind of come up and your fingertips go straight in the air, okay? So I'm gonna kind of show you this a little bit. So it's just up in the air, okay? Up in the air, like that. If you want to start out with, okay, first, second, I would start off with maybe getting on your knees, okay, and doing this and just kind of starting right here and pushing it up and then catching it, okay? So pushing it up and catching it. That is kind of how I want you guys to start. Third, fourth, fifth, you can do the same thing, okay? So basically what you're doing is you just want it to kind of barely go off your fingertips, okay? You release it off your fingertips, but you still have to have those noodle fingers, okay? So a couple of things you can do. You can do the bump and the set with a partner, okay? So one partner can bump it to you, you can set it to them, and they can bump it back, or they can set it back to you, and you can just practice back and forth. You can do it to yourself, just like I showed you. You can get on your knee, work on it that way, and then start actually just hitting it back up to yourself, okay? Like this, just practicing, okay? You want it to kind of go right straight to you. That is, we're pushing up and through, okay? So you also have a wall, same thing. Now, it'll have to be higher, so you have to have a wall that's pretty tall to be able to do this. Make sure it has no windows, anything like that. You can use a soccer ball, a kickball. If you have a volleyball, that's awesome. Do not use a basketball, okay? It's way too heavy for your fingertips and it will hurt. So you can just kind of do it off the wall, okay? Set it back to the wall, set it back to the wall. Or, okay, another good way you can do this is to kind of just put your hands right here and you just kind of set it to yourself, okay? Obviously, you don't want to get too close to the wall, but just practice on setting the ball up in the air, okay? That's what we're trying to work on. So the first hit is our bump or our pass, okay? And remember, we keep our arms down when we do this, okay? So this one goes to the setter, who is now you, who you are working on, okay? Setting the ball straight up in the air, as high as you can get it, okay? And then the next week, we'll work on hitting it, okay, over the net. And I'll put the net out here. We have a net. It's a shorter net than what you actually need, okay? But it works the same. It doesn't really matter. And then the following week, we'll actually go over how to serve it over the net. I'll show you underhand, and I'll show you overhand how to serve it, okay? Remember, be careful with this. Once again, don't use a basketball. Don't use a wall that has windows or anything. If you have someone to work with you on, that's awesome. If you don't, that's okay too. You can work by yourself doing it. You can work on bumping to yourself and then setting it. And you can also work on a wall, okay? I hope you guys have a safe and healthy week. Please stay 6 foot, use your mask, all that good stuff. We want to stay healthy. And if you guys have any questions, my email, you guys can always email me if you have any questions. So y'all have a great week, and I will see you guys next week.